My name's Guy Maskall and I am Community Manager for the Foundations of Data Science course. So, if you have any questions on that course and you want to post on the community, I'll be the one there kind of looking out on that. And I've been a mentor with Springboard for some 2.5 or more years now. I got into the field of data science originally coming from a physical sciences background, and my PhD ended up being not so much in physical sciences per se, but more in statistical pattern recognition, sort of as it was maybe more known back then, which you could also think of as being part of, or also known as machine learning. And that really switched me on to the mathematics and the idea of being able to use data to be able to classify sort of objects, etc. And the power of that and the statistics and the maths I just found really interesting, and that led me into doing more of that. And suddenly I found that it was called data science, so it kind of found me. I wasn't one of these people who thought I really want to do data science. It was like, hey, what I do is data science. The soft skills, it's actually, if someone comes to you with a problem, there's an element of shaking them and saying, what do you actually mean? What do you actually want to know? And matching that up with the data that's available. And I think that is what makes a really successful data scientist. Instead of someone just saying, we'd like you to do a model for such and such, and you just do it, what do you really want to know? Because that can lead to far more interesting and better solutions. I would have been tempted to say, in answer to that question, the inordinate amount of time that you spend cleaning data, which is very unglamorous. But I think that's actually probably fairly well known. I had previously done a Coursera data science specialization, and they asked me to kind of stay on and be join the ranks of their mentors. But the way that works is that you basically monitor the discussion groups, and you pitch in, you make sure that they're not kind of sharing solutions and help out, etc. But you could be pitching in and talking to one random student, then another random student, and you never have any kind of relationship there. And the thing that really made it special when Parol, got in touch with me to say, would you like to mentor for us, was the fact that you get assigned a student and you work with that student throughout. And it really is rewarding to get to see that relationship and to see that student grow. So it's definitely that makes the difference. I think the things that I recommend to students if they're feeling a bit stuck can very much depend on how I sense that they're being stuck. So it's very useful to try to ask a few questions on that. And so it's helpful if the student can communicate kind of quite why they're stuck or what they would like to sort of be different on. And one thing might be, for example, skipping ahead and just getting R and RStudio installed so that they can start to play with it, so they can start to see the data. Because one not uncommon issue or difficulty is that they're seeing a lot of programming, but they're not really getting hands on the data. So just skipping ahead to give them that can really help give them that sort of illumination. One of the coolest capstone projects that I've had a student do was they looked at some online game data for Defense of the Ancients, which I'd never heard of. So having gone from not being a massive game player, not having heard of this game, and taking them through this analysis, I actually learned quite a bit about how to actually play this game, which was the primary thing of what they were looking at. For a new player, how do you become successful? Should you kill people? Should you assist your teammates? What should you do? And this sort of thing actually came out of the data. So I knew nothing about this game to start with, and then it ended up with me thinking, oh, okay, this is actually how you might adopt a strategy to play the game and be successful at it. The biggest bit of wisdom that I would have to offer students is you really do get out of this what you put in. And it's really helpful, it's so rewarding as a mentor to have a student, and they've clearly been putting in quite a few hours over the week, and they've given you an agenda. And one of my favourites, which I've not come across before, is I've got this one student who actually puts a dozen PowerPoint slides together, just literally with hand-drawn arrows to bits of data that they've done, saying, I understood this, what does this mean, with a circle around it. And, as an agenda, as a talking point, it's so useful. So to see that, a student is actually putting in the time, you've got to do that to get something out of it, but the agenda really is helpful as well.